Hello ladies, I hope you're all having a lovely night at your dinner. My name is Maria Rafferty, otherwise known as the Hormonal Health Coach, and your friend Lisa asked me to make a video with some health tips for you all. So as we know, and we're hearing more and more often, digestion is so important because a lot of illness and disease, it is now understood to be starting within the gut. I'm sure you are hearing everywhere about the importance of good food and avoiding, well, basically all the fun stuff, you know. I'm sure you're not avoiding it tonight though. So what I am going to talk to you about is not what you eat, but how you eat. Because how you eat is just as important, if not more important, than what you're actually eating, because we want to make sure that you're actually digesting the food that you are eating and that you are absorbing the nutrients from the food. And what we don't want happening is that food just going into the gut and just not being digested and basically just kind of lying there and going stagnant. So a few things we're going to cover first of all. I have the notes here. So before we eat anything, what we're going to do is we're going to warm up the stomach. So if you think of your stomach like an oven that has to transform the food from what you see on your plate into nutrients that your body can use and absorb. It takes a lot of energy, it takes a lot of blood flow. So what we have to do is warm the stomach up, a little bit like switching the oven on. An excellent and simple way to do this is to drink warm water with a little bit of ginger in it. What ginger does, it's a very well-known herb in Chinese medicine, a warming herb. What it does is it causes the blood vessels around the stomach to dilate, increasing blood flow to the stomach. More blood, more energy, the food is broken down. So that means the opposite of that, which we must avoid regardless of what you're reading about it being good for you, are cold ice drinks and smoothies. Basically, a cold ice drink or a cold smoothie going into the stomach is like switching the oven off, putting the digestive fires out. The food is not going to be transformed and your roast in the oven is not going to be cooked. It would just sit there and rot. So that's tip number one, warm the stomach up before you eat anything. Next, before you begin eating, is to just take a moment, sit down, relax the body and gently breathe. If you even stop and notice at any stage throughout the day, sometimes when we're busy doing and going and everything's so hectic, there's a level of tension just around the chest and the stomach area. So if you're feeling like that and you try to eat, you're not going to digest your food. Same goes if you are sitting at your desk at work, working and trying to eat a sandwich. Your body won't process both, and it's the food that you are taking into your mouth, but it's maybe not going to go into proper digestion. Likewise, eating on the run and things like that. Now, I do appreciate that there are some times that these things have to happen, but for the most part, if you can avoid it, that will be so good for your health. Next part, we're actually going to start eating the food now. So it goes into the mouth, chew it, and then chew it some more, and then chew it even more, because your stomach has no teeth. And the more you break it down in the mouth, the easier the job of the stomach. You're all familiar with the mouth, the saliva that's in your mouth, and what's actually in that is enzymes that will break down the food, the starches within your food. It also kind of coats the food and makes it slide down the esophagus that little bit easier. So chew your food. It sounds easy, but it's a little bit more difficult than that, as we all know. We're always in such a rush these days. So next part is, and again, I know you're all doing this tonight, but you can start tomorrow. Try to avoid cold drinks after you've eaten something, because Well, we all know, and if you don't, you can get a greasy frying pan when you go home and put cold water on it. And what happens? The grease, the fat, it just becomes solid. So if you have any fat within your food, and you should have good fats within your food, they are, with the cold icy drinks and water, they're just going to be really difficult to digest. Last point for tonight is, and again, your excuse from this one tonight is, try not to sit down after a meal. Because when you sit down and slouch, there's going to be a curve in your back. The digestive system is going to be a little bit squished and under pressure. So it will be more difficult for the food to make its journey down through the stomach, all through the intestines and out the other end. So if you can stay upright, just some gentle movement, you know, like wash the dishes. It's hard just to stand up around your own house, isn't it? But just some, prepare lunches for the next day, do a little bit of dusting, whatever. I'm so 1950s housewife, aren't I? Sorry about this. But you get the gist. But just try to avoid that slumping down on the sofa for about 20-30 minutes after you eat. Or you could actually just go for a gentle walk as well. Oh, and I've one more. Again, pay no heed tonight, but try not to fill your stomach up when you're eating. I know it's hard when there's so much food sitting in front of you, but now I want you to think of like a washing machine, and if you shove everything in the washing machine, it's not going to be able to really clean those clothes. There's just not enough free space for the movement of everything. It's exactly the same with your stomach, or certainly very similar. If you fill your stomach up to the brim, your body can't swish it around, break it down effectively, digest it and transform it from food into useful nutrients in the body. So I hope this has been really helpful for you all, and I hope that starting tomorrow or maybe Monday, that you can put them into practice. They don't cost you anything, but believe me, they are probably a lot more effective than some of those supplements and gimmicks out there that you would be paying a lot of money for. Good night, thanks for listening, and enjoy your night.